forget to request this.
Should have the capabilities. No, that's one where it pushes a truck.
So I need a new trailer. Out running our tandem. We're gonna be going so fast.
Will this one fit on your new trailer?
We haven't tried it though, to make sure it's going up it, but it's supposed to. Probably something we should try.
Great, how about you?
There's plenty of space out there at the service center to do some testing.
Definitely.
You guys up first?
That was frustrating.
Yeah, maybe I can it's a break. I'd go clean, just go back. I'm pretty well stuck.
Yeah, no. They have
No, Rob. Okay, good.
yeah, no. I was just making sure that you're aware that
Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen?
Present.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Commissioner Stallings will not be in attendance. Commissioner Orr?
Here.
And Mayor Pinkinen.
Here. Thank you. Item 2, at the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the regular session agenda.
So I would like to look at, in the consent items, 7.1 and 7.3. 7.1 is where we ran the fiber from the Stride Center out to the service center, and when we talked about this several months ago, that had come in at that $300,000 range, and I was shocked that it was so high, and now it turns out it costs $50,000. So I was wondering, what did we do right to save $340,000?
Well, in actuality, we saved $50,000 because I think it was about a $400,000 project that ended up costing about $300,000. Is that right? It may be in the detail.
Yes, that's correct.
So we did. It is a deduct. It's a good change order. It's a deduct of $50-some thousand, right? Can you pull up the agenda, Kent, so we can look at it too, or will that mess you up? I don't have the background with me.
I mean,
so-
I'm looking at it. So the original was 396 and we knocked 50,000 off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's what I get for reading these things late at night. It's still an awful lot of money.
It's still a good news story. There's always change orders, but deduct change orders are what we refer to as really good change orders.
But it's done then.
Yes.
That's the takeaway. Okay. And then the other one was just on the tennis courts. I'm kind of interested in what was going on there.
Yeah, that's a good, you want to talk, why don't you tell the good news story on that one?
Well, I think it's all good news, I think. So the bid, we received 2 bids. Both bids did not address an addendum that was attached to the bid. And so, I mean, in honesty, we had 2 non-responsive bids. But through the research that we've done on the people that bid the project, we found that they are actually on Sourcewell. Is that the correct one? So we can actually purchase the project, or however you want to term it, through a co-op. So
That's a good thing.
it's a good thing.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good. All right, any others? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on. Item 3, study items. Item 3.1, review the 2023 City Council session and regular meeting schedules.
Yeah, and this is really just an item to make sure everybody's aware of the schedule. And there are, January, for instance, is all Thursday meetings because of holidays. There's one like that in February. So it's really just an opportunity, again, to get in front of you guys and the public, the meeting schedule. So there's really nothing to discuss unless you would like to talk about the schedule.
Okay. Okay, good, thank you. Item 3.2, update on asphalt program.
Yeah, Ashley Humphreys is the supervisor for the street department, and the asphalt program is a program we've been working on for probably around 3 years or so. You're aware that we bought a new machine, and so she's going to give us an update on all that. She's going to talk about what we've done and what's upcoming, and I think it's exciting news because there's nothing we can do, in my mind, that impacts the public positively more than fixing streets. And so we fixed a lot, but there's a lot more that need to be fixed. So why don't you tell us what's coming up, Ashley?
Sure. So obviously we have, I know a lot of people don't get to see the street department and who's all involved, so I did want to include this. Obviously myself and Daryl Hoskins is our foreman. He's been with the city of Enid for like 43 years. And right here, this is our group of employees. There is one missing out of here, but these fine men and women are the ones that take care of your roads every single day. They're also the ones that are in charge of all of your mowing, so we appreciate them, and I'm glad to have them on my team. So right here, I did include a list, and I separated it per your recommendation on the last meeting that I did, based in wards, so you can read through those lists and see what roads have been completed so far. So I included our projected list. This is where we're going once the weather does break and we do have a chance to really get out there and start working our new machine. I also included the wards for you as well. And it continues. This right here is all of Ward 1. So if you notice, previous Ward 1 didn't really have anything on there, so Mr. Allen will get you taken care of.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is also Ward 1, and then as you can tell, towards the end of this year, we will be going to Mr. Orr, your ward, and heading towards Ward 6. There is one in your ward monitor that we are working on, and that was on the first page. That's going to come before, because we did lay on there, and it got, we didn't have the best results, so we are redoing it.
We're also getting Merrimack while we're there, right?
Yes, and I thought I had that on there, but I think it got pushed to the last one, but we're going to take care of what's in that area. So we received our Leeboy 8616D the other day. We are super excited. I wanted to include, I'm sorry, the screen is really small, or is it just my eyesight? I did want to include some of our, I guess, specifications
Go back
for
to
the
the
machine.
picture and then tell us about it.
Oh, well, put me on the spot here. So the
She can't see
8616D is the biggest line
Oh, I see.
in,
Okay.
yeah, it's the biggest in the line of non-commercial pavers, well, commercial non-highway pavers that we can get. It takes 3 men on the actual machine to operate it. I have some of my men right here. Toby Derryberry is this gentleman right here. He is our lead for our asphalt crew. Thank you. We have Josh Hagan, he is one of our operators, and then Pedro just came to my department, and he is going to be our paver operator. So he's gonna be the one you see out there on top of that machine, leading the group, so.
Thank you.
So what I thought was really great about this machine, and I don't have it right here, do you know what the total hopper is? Is it 9 tons? I believe it's a 9-ton hopper, so we're really gonna have a hard time keeping up with the machine, because I think we're gonna outrun our dump trucks. So next year I'll be coming back to you guys to get a new trailer, okay? So just keep that in mind. So again, meet our crew, Toby Derryberry, he is our paving team leader. We have our paver operator, Pedro Perez. Our right wing operator is Josh Hagan. Our left wing operator is Matt Kessler, and then our ground men is Jaime Padilla and Zach Thompson, along with our 2 roller operators, Eddie Ukina and Travis Taylor. This is what it takes for us to run this machine, minus our drivers. Is there a way to, can you play that? I don't know if it's supposed to be a video. So obviously, it's not asphalt coming through it, but we did have a representative from Kirby Smith come out the other day and showed us the basics of the laydown machine. We were able to run sand through it, which mimics the same type of properties as what asphalt would do when it comes through it. So we can actually start to get the feel for the machine. I do have some training coming up. So our representative from Leeboy, the actual company, is flying in. He'll be here at the end of January. The dates are still trying to be finalized, but once it is finalized, I will update everybody. But he's going to come in and actually give us a hands-on training, show us the ins and outs of the machine, give us some more, help us familiarize better with it and figure out the kinks and anything else that we need to do to it. So, any questions?
So I do have a question, because I was looking, there's a document that we came out earlier. They wanted to show us about what the different departments were doing, and you were highlighted in there, and you said something about a giant number of tons of asphalt you laid in one day.
We did, yeah.
Tell us about that.
So it was on Redbird Lane, and the machine that we had was a 1000G. It was the Leeboy. It was designed as a parking lot paver or a driveway paver, so it was only designed to put about 20 to 50 tons of asphalt through it in a day. We were averaging about 250 tons of asphalt a day with that machine, which is record-breaking, Leeboy had stated. But in one day, we did lay 447 tons in one day, which is,
That's a lot of elephants.
yeah.
That's very impressive. We need to know those kind of things, because 470 whatever tons in one day. That's just remarkable. Thank
In the heat of summer.
your efforts. Thank you for your efforts.
Can you go, well, I don't know, if you guys have these slides too, so you can look at the completed slides. So as you drive around town, I'm sure you're going to see some of these asphalted roads. So this is one of the best programs that we have for what it's getting done and for its cost effectiveness. So we're going to be able to step up the program even more now with this new machine, so.
We're moving and grooving, so we're creating something that's going to benefit a lot of citizens here in the city, so.
So we're going to be using 2 machines?
No, we
No.
just have one, but it's a bigger, faster machine, bigger hopper. The hopper can be fed by the dump trucks.
Correct.
In it without stopping the progress like
Correct.
the last machine, and so the expectation is we can get more streets done in the same time period.
847 tons in one day.
These guys,
Here, Toby, come up here, talk to the mic so they can hear you.
I believe with this new machine, we will be able to lay probably 400 tons a day. Like Ashley said, this machine will outrun our trucks. I mean, there is no doubt about that. It is a very good quality machine. I don't know all of its capabilities yet. I'm wanting to learn that along with the operators and everything. So I'm looking at, we're going to start out our first maiden voyage with it. I'm wanting to try to do about 250 tons right off the bat with it and see where we stand with that. And then after that, we'll just keep progressing moving our tonnage up each time. I'm hoping that maybe Cummins will be able to cooperate with us well, and we'll be able to do maybe 500 tons a day. Which I will say that will probably be midsummer before we're trying to do something like that.
For linear feet, 500 tons covers about how much?
So Redbird Lane, I don't have the stats with me, but I do know that it was from, where was it? We did that whole block. Do you remember how much it was? It was a huge stretch.
Yeah.
It's about what? 4.5 blocks, roughly. About 4.5 blocks is what?
1,600 inches.
Yeah.
But that depends on the lane, the
Right.
length of the street and all.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends on how deep, we're laying it as well, too.
Depth.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're laying 3 inches, you can go a full width, but after compaction, the rollers and stuff, you're probably looking at inches, 3/4, maybe 2 inches. So you multiply that times your length and you'll get a decent amount of asphalt. The more asphalt we put down, the slower the process, you're not gonna be able to go anymore. But it's roughly around 400, or 4.5 blocks roughly.
Thank you.
I think you asked me that same question last time. I'm gonna come prepared next time.
Just double checking.
So you're having trouble keeping asphalt trucks filled, and what our job is just to make sure that there's asphalt in those trucks.
Show me the money.
That's what
No,
I like to hear.
yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
I think eventually we just need to keep getting the right equipment, and every year we add something great to our crew. So we just got to keep going. It's gonna, Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's gonna take some time for us to build this program the way that it needs to be built. But I definitely think we're on the right track.
Okay, absolutely. Artie, thanks.
Thank
Great
you.
update on that. Now, were you going to bring forward one on the cement roads as well, concrete roads?
Not today,
Not today, but
but yes, we can update on that too. That's a very successful program.
Yep.
To go along with our local street program, the complete replacement program like we see out on Maple and Birch, those are complete replacements. But everywhere you go, you will see new concrete on existing concrete streets. And so the concrete program is a fantastic program too, but yes, we will bring you an update on that
Okay.
sometime soon with what's been completed and what's left to do. I think we're making good progress. I think you approved $1 million in the budget, and I think that's gonna keep us going into the spring, and we may, that may keep us busy through the rest of the fiscal year. If it doesn't, and we have money available, we may come and talk about that, so.
good. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Item 3.3, discuss Meadow Lake Golf Course irrigation system issues and phased solutions. Hi, Michael.
Yeah, Michael, let me jump in first. This is a challenge for us, and Michael's going to update us on a problem, an issue. I can say that we don't have what I'm going to say is a workable solution for it yet, but the reason we're bringing it to you to tell you about it is because it is a problem, and I think, Mayor, you've talked about it before, and Commissioner Allen, I think you may have talked about it as well, and so, Michael, why don't you just update us on what's going on? I know we had a study done on our irrigation system, and
Sure, and it's not a fun project, but you can imagine that if you're a golf course, you don't have an irrigation system that's reliable, it's not going to go very well. So our irrigation system that we have currently was installed partly in the 90s and partly before that, back before the 80s. So we have some PVC that's been in the ground for over 40 years. It is super thin-walled PVC. So I've been here for 11 years, and every year it just keeps getting worse and worse. So this has been in the back of my mind for a long time, and I knew it was going to be a big project. But we started the ball rolling a couple years ago. The PVC pipes are getting pinhole leaks. So we'll dig up, and it's just, and all this digging is on our staff. We don't hire any of it out. It's our staff of 3 or 4. And it's all hand digging because we have wires that run with the pipes. Every head has got an individual wire that runs to each head, so you can't just come in with a machine and start digging because you'll hit wires, you'll tear stuff up. So it's hand digging, fixing the pipe, fixing the leak, backfilling, leveling, because all we see here on a playable surface in the middle of a fairway, right up next to a green. Cracks in the pipe, the glue joints where the PVC The glue kind of eats away at the pipe over years, and it'll just slowly deteriorate it, especially if you use too much glue or a lot of primer. We've been fighting those leaks for years. Our system covers 125 acres of property, so we have a lot. Golf course covers a big area. And our pressure is boosted by pumps to over 100 PSI. Golf course irrigation is a little different than your sprinkler system in your yard. Rotors are bigger, the sprinklers throw 90 feet, so it's a little different animal. In 2022, we've repaired 50 water leaks so far this year, and I've also got at least 15 to 20 more that we know of that are flagged to be repaired. We kind of go, if there's a blowout, obviously we have to fix that right away. If there's a leak that's in a problem area, we kind of prioritize where we're going to fix, how bad the leak is. We shut off the system. When it rains, we're shutting it off. And then we'll fix what we can, but we're also doing other maintenance. It's a challenge. So I had a list of a lot of just kind of slow leaks and some decent sized leaks. And as soon as we finally got rain, it was a dry year. So really a struggle this year. We finally got the rain in the fall and we shut the system down and we just start digging. And if Commissioner Allen and the mayor, they see holes kind of as we dig and replace and repair. Each leak averages $50 to over $1,000 just for your fittings, depending on what it is. If it's a 4-inch T and you're having to put a ductile iron fitting and then fixes, that's pretty expensive. If it's just a pinhole leak, that's a pretty easy fix. But also about 10 labor hours per leak. So I estimate we're spending at least $50,000 in material plus man hours a year just in fighting irrigation leaks, plus the water that's running off down the fairway or whatever. We do the best we can with it, but that's kind of what, it's also an eyesore. I mean, we've got people coming into town, you're playing the golf course. We've had more events and we've had more play in the last few years than we've had since I've been here by far. We've got 2 college golf tournaments coming in next year from out of state. All these people come in for 3 or 4 days. They're staying the nights. We're going to have, in March, 100 players at Meadow Lake, and then Oakwood Country Club is going to host the boys, and we'll have the girls. And they're all coming from, I think, Kansas, Missouri, all the states that are neighboring us. So the eyesore of it also creates poor turf conditions if you've got a leak that sits there for a while. And right now, the system we have is single row spacing. So each fairway, there's a row of heads that run right down the middle. The new system, we've got a design for. We hired a company, EC Design Group out of Iowa, about 1.5 years ago, and they put together a design. It would be a double row system, which is common. Single row is really not very efficient because you're going to have wet spots down the middle of the fairway. The edges are still dry. You don't get anything really into the rough. So it's kind of the basic. When the system was put in, it was kind of put in, let's do it as cheaply as we can, years and years ago. So a double row system would allow us to have coverage into the rough a little bit to irrigate more efficiently. We could put out more water with the new system, but do it way more efficient. And also you go out and you put out a fertilizer application. You have a leak that comes up, you're trying to water, everything goes down, that fertilizer is going to burn the turf where you were expecting to get it watered. We have rows down some of our fairways that the row runs down the right side, so the left side of number 9 fairway has no water to it. So that was kind of a design flaw with the system we have now. So we hired EC Design. The new system that golf courses are putting in that we're going to go with, whenever it eventually happens, hopefully, would be a high-density polyethylene pipe, which is it comes in rolls, and usually it's black pipe, and it is flexible. So you put it in the ground, and it's not going to be like PVC where the soil shifts from tightness or wet-dry cycles, and it's going to crack and pinholes. That pipe won't have leaks. I've got superintendent friends that have put it in 7-8 years ago, haven't had a leak on their course since, besides maybe a weeping sprinkler head. That's going to be something that you always might deal with, but the pipe itself hasn't had leaks. It's a big number. The first cost estimate was $1.7 million, and I came back to him about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he updated it to $1.918 million. It is approximately 796 sprinkler heads in total, 52,700 feet of lateral irrigation lines and 20,600 feet of irrigation main line, which is about 14 miles of pipe and wire. So material cost is high, but so is the labor to install it. They'll be able to, the installation process would be trenching your main lines and then vibratory plowing your laterals and the wires. Leaks are non-existent. The HDPE pipe has a life expectancy of 40 plus years compared to PVC, which is 15 to 30 at most. And our system, like I said, has been in the ground for 40, a lot of it for 40 years or more. We've talked about possibly phasing a project when it does, that's kind of an idea we've had. We could do it in 2, maybe even 3 phases with the pump station, because the pump station's also part of it. Our pumps haven't been touched in that same amount of time. And I cross my fingers every summer that we're going to get through without the pumps failing. They don't look like they're in great shape. We've had them looked at, but not really service. There's nothing that can service on them. The new pump station would have a 40 horsepower pump that would be the pump that would run when the irrigation is going, and then a little 3-horse jockey pump, which just is the pump that runs to maintain pressure. So that saves you money on electricity because your pumps aren't running. You don't have a 40 horse pump. Right now we have 2 35 horse pumps. Those pumps run all the time, whether there's irrigation flowing or not. If the pressure needs boosted, that kicks on. The new system would just kick on the little small pump. So I wanted to just kind of bring this to you and talk to you about it. Questions? I figured Mr. Stallings would be here. He has got a lot of engineering background on golf course. Especially I figured he would be here with some questions, but he's not.
Well, Rob will still be here, so.
Right.
Tell us about your revenue. You didn't mention that.
Revenue, this year we've increased our revenue every year for the past 5 years I know of. This year we're 12.8% is the last I looked. We're looking to bring in about $750,000 in revenue. So pretty close to breaking even operationally. And that's the goal that I've kind of had, was to cut that subsidy as much as we can. And memberships have been up, our play's been up. We're looking at 25,000 plus rounds of golf a year. And people come in from all over to play in our events and just to play. They'll drive from the city, drive from Woodward, drive from Wichita. People come from a lot of different places. We've got junior golf that we host. Junior golf's been had a resurgence recently. We started a new junior kind of program with Oakwood where we had teams back and forth. They had a team, we had a team, we played matches. And we had to shut off our junior program at 50 kids this year because we didn't have enough adults to teach. So I felt bad turning people away, but 7, 8 years ago we had maybe 8 that signed up. So there's maybe been a resurgence in golf, and I'm sure COVID has helped that. People are getting outdoors more, but we've been positively impacted and revenue's been good. So.
We spend money in parks all the time. We just spent $300,000+ just on lights at one of our parks. And so, and that park is used for softball. So you can get all kinds of different comments, and you will, from the public about what you should spend in parks and what things cost. But I'm going to equate this to what they told us when they were putting in the soccer complex. That the most important thing is the grass in soccer, and it's an important thing in golf too. And so you got to water it in Oklahoma. And I would hope that we can figure out over the next couple of years how we can find the money to get this repaired and establish that fund. And whether it takes 1 or 2 seasons to do it's regardless to me. Right. But it absolutely must be addressed, because you're spending a lot of money that is needlessly spent just trying to keep things patched. And we do that a lot in different places in town, but it's your turn. So I encourage everybody to think about this over while we go into this next budget session.
Michael, I think the water we receive right now for the course comes from the city, is that correct?
Yes.
So we don't have any wells?
We've drilled test wells and we were getting 5 gallons a minute. We've looked at different options.
Not near enough to...
Yeah, we
Okay.
I wish there was a way we could catch some water from somewhere and.
All right.
So maybe in the future, that's
Okay.
definitely on our minds.
Yeah, don't want to go 5,000
Yeah,
feet.
people have
to
said,
get
well,
water.
pump out a metal lake, that's so shallow, we would drain it.
Okay. I think the front side of the course was built significantly before the back side, so does it mean that their sprinkler system's in better shape, or did the sprinkler systems all go in the same?
They're all about the same. They, the front side was actually built, well, they redid it in the early 90s with Trip Davis.
Yeah.
When he came in, and they did part of the irrigation then. So I don't know if they just chose some of the sections that were in worse shape and did those, and they did some of the green, most of the green complexes they did, and it's the fairways they kind of.
Okay. So would you envision if they did divide it up, like front side and close the back side and then switch it off whenever?
Yeah, and you wouldn't really have to close the course. You would just maybe have to close a few of the holes. We do it in the winter, obviously. You can't really, it would be a November to February, March-ish project. And they could keep the course open except for the few holes that they'd be doing mainline work. If they're digging up main lines, we'd have to shut down a few holes. But
Yeah.
that would be, my envision would be pump station first. You would want to start with your pump station, whether that was 1 year and then the 9 holes and then maybe the next year another 9 holes. It'd really be unfeasible to do it less than 9 a year. You wouldn't find a contractor that would come in and they'd charge so much that it would be.
Yeah.
And plus, golf irrigation is booming right now because of the new technologies and because of this HDPE pipe, and a lot of courses have deferred capital payment or capital projects because they kind of struggle. Golf was struggling for a while, so those things were just pushed down the road. Well, now golf's been doing a little bit better, and irrigation projects are a very big, they're very popular right now.
Okay. Do you know of any, what do we call them? Grant opportunities available?
We have, we've looked into that. Kicking Bird in Edmond just put in a new irrigation system. Trosper Park in Oklahoma City, those are city courses, and Lake Hefner South. And I've spoken with all their superintendents, and they've looked also, and there wasn't any grant opportunities for just an irrigation system. Now, maybe tying it into something else, who knows?
Okay. Don't have to ask.
We really just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of an issue. It's not
Right.
going to be solved overnight, as Commissioner Allen said, but
Yeah.
we'll be looking to figure out ways, and some of the things we'll probably look at too is maybe other projects that maybe this could be part of or something. The phasing, I think, is going to be probably pretty critical to figure out some way to phase it. But I do know that you had something like 50 leaks or something in the past year, and that's a problem. You guys some of you are golfers, so you may have seen some of the puddles and stuff out there that, yeah. So anyway, so it's really just to raise awareness, and we'll be working so we'll have more as we work on potential solutions, and probably looking at solutions in conjunction maybe with other projects might be a way ahead on this too. So really, I think that's all we intended to do tonight with this, is make you aware.
Good. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. I'd like to talk just for a minute about the regular study sessions and regular meetings. At one point, we thought or talked about combining them and just having one start time and rolling them together, and that way, like tonight, we have an hour that we're gonna wait in between now and the next session, which is not a good use of our time, nor is it a good use of the people's time that are coming in to address us. So I just wanted to, since it's on the agenda, I guess we can discuss that. So I'd like to hear what you guys think of the idea of just like starting at a certain time and take a 15-minute break in between and then go into the regular session. So, Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We're looking at 5:30 here. We've got 55 minutes to kill before the next meeting. It's more efficient use of time if we can just start at either 5:30 or 6 and just roll everything into one. That's the idea, 15-minute break in between.
Anybody else?
I like it. Would there be an issue with when the official meeting starts?
Well, we could make it when we want. I mean,
So that time does not need to be set in stone?
it doesn't have to be, well, it probably has to be set in stone.
Yeah,
But it
if
could
we were
be-
gonna run them together, it would be one meeting.
Yeah,
We would
but
just
if
have
we
a
want to
break.
start at 6, we can start at 6.
But when we talked about it previously,
Yeah.
I heard some good arguments against it. That there are a lot of people that they want to come to the main meeting, which is the meeting with the business.
Okay.
And they need to know the time, and that it's hard for people to get off at 5.
Okay, all right.
I thought it was a great idea, but after listening
Yeah,
to
no, no,
other
it-
people, I thought, okay, good point.
Yeah. Others?
Yeah, that's probably the only other concern, like Carol was saying, is just,
Yeah.
you know, if we had organizations on the agenda, you know, they know that by 6:30, they need to be here for that meeting. But if we have a meeting
Yeah.
going from our
We're
study
not sure it'll be
session to the
sometime
meeting,
between
then
5:15 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make it kind of difficult for those individuals or organizations that want to come and talk to us.
Okay.
That's the only drawback I see on it. As far as the use of time, like you said, Scott, it would be more efficient for us.
Yep.
But also, we do represent the public.
Right.
You know, we're here to serve the public. So
And I don't know about you guys, but I don't put a lot of things on my schedule the same day there's a meeting, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's the thing. We have to remember, we're here because our constituents, they put us here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I don't need to, I'm not necessarily in favor of changing it. It's just something that came up before, and I thought if ever we're gonna talk about it, this is the right time. But if people are satisfied that this is the better way to represent the public, then that's fine with me too. And that's what it sounds like.
The schedule is already set, but we could try it if you wanted to try and experiment with one and just call it a special meeting and do our best to try and manage it. We could try it. If it makes you feel better, the next study session, I think, will be really full because we may even have too many items. We normally go an hour and 15 and you cut us off at 6:15. So I don't think it'll be a problem next time, but obviously today it's pretty light, very
Yeah.
light agenda, so.
Okay.
So just let us know what you want to, if you want to try something, otherwise.
No, I think we'll
Let's
just
try
leave
that.
it as is, but if anybody's interested in the future in addressing that, let me know. But it sounds like,
Well, here's one other thought that I have too, that we actually did this on December 20th. Occasionally, we'll cancel a study session. Are you guys okay with that? If
Oh,
there's not
yes.
enough things, we just
Absolutely.
cancel the study session and then we just have the regular meeting?
Yeah.
That might be the best way to do it then, because then we don't have to worry about
Yeah.
how long is it going to take and.
okay, no, that's a good idea.
Well, like tonight, both the two important issues that we've discussed could have been done in regular session and just taken this few minutes, you know. Other times, we need every second of that hour and a half for, depending on what people are here to talk to us about.
Right.
And really, all of it can be done in regular session, quite frankly, because the stuff that's just discussion is discussion, the stuff you take action on, you could. So we can do it however you guys want to try it.
Well, I don't think, unless somebody wants to, I don't think I'm in favor of changing it now, but I did want to take advantage of this opportunity to bring it up and at least discuss it. So if anybody does want to change that format or try I don't know that I'm in favor of, let's just try it once because it could be the light week that you try it. And the next week is when everything hits the fan, so that may or may not work. And I do like the idea of having consistency so that everybody in the city knows every day that we're gonna meet for the next whole year right here, and they can put it in their calendar. So I think there's value for that as well. So for now, let's just leave it as is. Okay? All righty. That said, we are going to adjourn and we'll reconvene in here at 6:30. Thank you.